We're going to be doing a few of these videos. We're going to run through the different protocols that are important in the space and the different networks that they run on. The idea of this is to facilitate an artist what is coming into the space. Where would they get started? What do they need to know? Try and keep it quite essential with that stuff. We will be going a little bit into the technical jargon with wallets, network, gas fees, not necessarily because it's the most interesting thing for people to do, but it is very necessary for people to do, provided you like keeping hold of your own money and your wonderful NFT collections that you will hopefully be releasing. So me and Josh will be your little guys going through this. The first one we're going to be starting with is Sound.xyz. This is one of the biggest ones in the space. And I will be asking questions. I'll be coming in this like a artist who is new to the space, and Josh is going to be guiding me through this. I'm going to avoid the pun. Does that sound all right with you, Josh?
Absolutely sound.
First off, let's just do the technicals. This is run on which network?
This is on ETH. Now, they did that because the mass amount of value is on ETH. If you look across the NFT space, they're trying to make this as mainstream as possible and wanting to signify that there is a lot of value still within music. So they chose to go on ETH. I'm sure there are plans in the future to make this work on different chains, but it's on ETH for now.
So just to beef that out, we will actually have a standalone video coming out fairly soon with the pros and cons of ETH. Essentially, it is the second largest network. It's the largest one that you can seriously build on top of. Therefore, it has the most reliability, most security, the most testing, the most people and money on that platform. So here we are on the homepage. This is the user side of it.
Yeah, sure. So this is what you're going to be faced with as soon as you pull it up. As you can see here, Curtis Roach has got a drop coming out in 3 hours and 13 minutes. Now, an artist comes to release on this platform. There'll be a listening party when the mint goes live, so you can listen to it and then mint that song. There'll be a certain amount of NFTs available per track. So you can view the song in here, gives you a bit of a breakdown. You can join the artist in the audience by getting your NFT and then a couple of the rewards down here as well. Now note, the golden egg is something that Sound has been incorporating into their drops. All of these NFTs are essentially just the one. You're just collecting an NFT, which is why I think it's the best place for up and coming artists to begin with. Just more mimics the traditional model of collecting a record or something of that nature. So they do bury a golden egg in each drop though. So one will be unique, which is that it is just a one of one. Could be the first one that was to be released, or it could have a different piece of album art. Now, this one tends to be the one that you're trying to collect because obviously it's going to hold more value because of the rarity. Does that make sense?
Yep, definitely. Copyright free way of doing Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, getting some golden tickets kind of thing, some extra perk, special shiny one. Those are the rewards that come with the NFT if you were to buy them. Obviously gets you that interaction with the artist for the listening party, and you're able to comment on there. Underneath there, we've got those contract details and obviously just today's date, as well as the technical stuff with the address. You can see it's on Ethereum. Most of that stuff, most people won't really care about. Although if you're having some wallet connectivity issues or something like that, do check that you've got the right wallet. But so the thing that a lot of artists might be interested in is that bottom one, the resale royalty. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So as you resell it on the secondary market sale, then the artist will be rewarded the 10% fee. Therefore, they can keep monetizing as their NFTs increase in value, which is something we've never seen before, and why this is so powerful, in my opinion.
That obviously really benefits the artist. It encourages them to keep releasing things for these as well, as the price of these can fluctuate. Certainly a lot more. A vinyl or a CD sale is very finalized, whereas they can offer perks, increase the value, but it essentially incentivizes a continuous relationship rather than a one-off point of sale with a CD, something like that. Just above where we've got the lovely little countdown timer, I guess above and below it, it says the price, which is in ETH. But just underneath that, where it says availability, it's on open edition. Can you talk us through what that is and what other ones might be available?
So open edition is quite a new invention in this space. I was quite interested because it relates more closely to what we are used to in the traditional space, where it's not just a set amount of NFTs that you can mint. These are set at 0.03 ETH, and there will be unlimited amount of mints available within a select amount of time. let's say they open the mint for 3 days, you can mint as many of those NFTs as you like within those 3 days, which is really useful because it eradicates the whole having to follow somebody, making sure that you have to be there on the day at the exact time, and then a lot of competition with the fees, etc. So this opens up to as many people being able to mint as many as they like within a set amount of time.
So this is very similar to buying a physical CD or maybe a bit more a OG iTunes download. What other options are there for an artist to release on here?
The standards would be just to set a certain amount of NFTs that you do want to release. Some of them ranging from 20 to 100 to 1,000 individual pieces. It's an interesting model. It is good because obviously it brings the scarcity. So of course your NFTs are going to pump a little bit more, but it does exclude a lot of your immediate following. If your collection is only 50 NFTs and you've got 1,000 people waiting to collect, obviously it's not fair on everybody if you're trying to reward everybody for being your early followers.
Yeah, you can only have so many of your first followers. So I guess the two ways of doing this, if you're a smaller artist, it's people coming, getting their I was here first badge. And if you're a much larger artist, this is equivalent to a limited edition, has all these fancy features, and generally the price would be jacked up on one of those initial releases.
Yeah, that's it. I think it was the last episode that we shot. I mentioned that free NFTs does not necessarily mean that you're not going to get any money for it. We are seeing a lot of these free editions close sales and then start seeing astronomical returns already. I tweeted today something along the lines of open editions make this a lot easier for people. It steps away from like the technicality of an NFT and brings it in a form that we're all a lot more familiar with, where we've got 3 days to go and pick up an NFT of our favorite things, dip our toes in. If it's free, happy days, and then see what happens in the secondary market.
Very cool stuff. I guess there's quite a lot the artist can do almost a price discovery model because this technology allows them to not necessarily extract more value out of fans, but a much fairer relationship with the monetary side of this. Anything that goes onto the secondary market could really help the artist learn how to price or how many to offer for the mint. If they could see that it's been traded backwards and forwards 100 times, then they could probably sell 25 of them roughly. The artist can work out based on how much volume has been traded, how many people were interested in buying this thing, how many unique addresses were interested in buying this thing, and what percentage of them were able to trade at what price. So if you got 10 people trading at the top price, you know that you could do a finite run around there. And then you could see that half your people who engage with you are able to do it at a lower amount. You could do a more general release there. And then you could see where does interest or peak for you or where does it start dropping off? And you could do an open edition down at that level. So these NFTs are really a technology for improving the monetization options and the data that can be extracted because everyone just used to sell a CD pretty much the same price because that's the price that CDs were, as opposed to that's how I can get the most possible fans, the most possible people listening to my music.
Yeah, look, you're letting your audience decide the price. And that's something that we've never been able to see before, where your true fans are setting the price for your work and you can learn from that as opposed to any middlemen setting the price where you can be completely out of your control in the past.
100%. And you can see over time, if price comes down or whatever after the releases come out initially, that there are plenty more people who would buy a CD. Oh, it's 50% off. Here's how I can finesse the sales. It's a standard product release cycle, product price. You get those early adopters, those ones who just want to be the first in there. And then right at the end, you get some laggards that just want to get a good deal on it. And there's so many artists in the world that I wouldn't be paying 10, 20 quid for a pound or two. Yeah, I like this little drop. That's much fairer for the artist because everyone can also enjoy the artist, the amount that they want and support them a relative amount to that.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that like this entire industry is still just an experiment. The more that you can experiment, come in and play around and have a little gamble, see who's out there, see who's collecting. It's going to surprise you at how many people are willing to collect your art as soon as you've made yourself a bit more familiar with this technology and within the space. So it is just an experiment, but the only way to find out is just to come in and play.
Very much so. Can we have a little look on the secondhand market?
So yeah, so you have the Sound marketplace here. course, collect and sell music NFTs. They've opened up a secondary marketplace with 0% listed fees. So you can just relist your NFTs and keep the music playing as per se. And all of these have obviously come from XYZ.
So I think they have to be, because the music space has been a lot better at guarding people from scams. So it has to come from a registered initial address, that people go through some kind of verification process initially to say that they're not copyrighting the music, to have some kind of legitimacy in this space. Whereas there were clearly quite a lot of issues that did happen with the JPEG side of this industry. So it has to be a verified music NFT.
Now, this is one of the latest additions to the protocol. And obviously, most of the traffic in terms of secondary was going through the OpenSea platform, which is the biggest platform for NFT art. And it's what we've seen pop majorly in 2021. So naturally, a lot of the secondary was filtering through there. But the guys over at Sound, who I just want to mention, are an amazing team, really small, and smashing out the upgrades and new products to the Sound protocol. It seems like every day at the minute. But yeah, so they decided that they needed to create a home for the music NFTs. So they've started this marketplace for a bit more safety, a bit more understanding, and gating the music section together. So you can just come here and see what's going on.
So that was a brief overview of Sound.xyz. It will keep upgrading and launching as you go through our little series, covering key players in the space, but also different ways that you can start to play with the marketing, doing a free release and milking it in. You'll quite quickly see what other artists have been doing, and you can learn by their mistakes. It's all publicly available data, is one of the most powerful things about this, that you can see what's worked for other people and you can see what hasn't worked so well for them.
Just what I was mentioning earlier, once again, this is just an experiment. So get stuck in and have a look at what's working. Have a look what captivates your attention, because if it captivates your attention, it's likely going to captivate others, and start minting some free NFTs.
And if you're an artist trying to understand this space further, make sure that you are subscribed to us, as we'll be dropping many videos around this content and so much more stuff. So you don't want to be missing out on any of that. Thanks for joining in, and we'll see you in another video.